Afternoon, everyone. It is great to be here with you today. My name is Dave DeYoung. Whoops, I better start over. Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be here with you today. My name is Dave DeYoung, and it is my absolute honor to be serving as the chair of Pitt's United Way campaign for this year. I really appreciate the opportunity to use this forum to engage with our campaign. Our theme this year is inclusion, and we're working very hard to get the message out for all the different ways that people can support our campaign and as well as be supported by the campaign. And that's certainly the theme of the presentations today. Without further ado, let's get started. It's my pleasure to introduce Adam Barron, who is our partner at United Way, supporting our efforts at Pitt to drive our campaign. Adam, it's great to see you. I appreciate your continuing support of us, and glad you could join us today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dave, and thanks everyone for being on the call today. It's great to be here, speaking with so many like-minded individuals who really care about the community at the University of Pittsburgh. I've had the pleasure of working closely with the university for many years and appreciate the ongoing support from the campaign team, from university leadership, and from, of course, over 1,900 donors in 2021, last year's campaign, that really put the university's United Way Workplace campaign at the top of the efforts that we put out into the community. So thank you. Pitt's commitment to our community and strong partnership has gone a long way to create change for those in need. Did you know that last year, Pitt employees raised over $700,000 to go back into the community? That's tremendous. In addition to the monetary generosity, Pitt continues to be engaged in ongoing volunteer opportunities, whether it's on campus or community-wide. And that combination of financial investment from faculty and staff, the time and energy are a recipe for positive change in our communities. The United Way really honors what the university does as a best practice that we try to mirror with other partners in the community. So you guys go above and beyond, and we really thank you for the tremendous support. As your 2022 campaign stretches into week 2, we invite you to participate in any way that you can to support this important work. Collectively, your support and the support of thousands of other donors in the community do make a difference. Last year, in 2021, over 60,000 donors in our Southwest PA region of Allegheny, Armstrong, Butler, Fayette, and Westmoreland County contributed over $35 million to the community, which is tremendous. As a convener in the community, United Way allows you to invest your hard-earned dollars to then allow us to stretch those dollars out to the area of greatest need within our communities that we work in and that we live in. With many options to harness your passions of giving back, we encourage you to give to the United Way's General Impact Fund. Our Impact Fund gives United Way the greatest flexibility to holistically address the often intertwined issues facing our most vulnerable neighbors. Directing your gift to the Impact Fund ensures your donation is utilized through the highest performing human service partners in our community. These agencies, who are impact funded agencies, complete a rigorous grant application process where they're vetted to make sure that they're going to be accountable and do what they say they're going to do with the dollars that you're contributing. Their innovation and creativity is highlighted to do new things that they wouldn't otherwise be able to do without the support of United Way and donors like yourselves. There are many different types of impact-funded agencies in all different areas of the community, many of which you've heard of, like the Boys and Girls Club, Urban League, Kids Voice, YWCA, YMCA, and other lesser known like Homewood Children's Village, Community Kitchen, Achieva, to name a few. For the past several years of the pandemic, the need does remain great, and those who had been in crisis at the time of the pandemic found themselves even further down that poverty spiral and having to ask for help. And there were so many who continue to ask for help that had not had to ask for help in the past. So that need does remain great. And of course, the recent inflation has compounded the challenges of those in need as prices climb and challenges remain very difficult. United Way has really been built for this moment, and we focused our support to 3 easy impact priority strategies: meeting, moving, and building. Meeting basic needs really is meeting our community at the root of their challenges and of their pain, providing assistance for housing, utilities, food, transportation. Like many of you, I got up this morning and got into work without any worry about, was my car going to break down on the way to work? What was I going to wear to work this morning? Was I going to be able to get that cup of coffee before I came into work? That level of safety and of comfort is not had by all. And there are 30% of the individuals in our region that don't have these basic needs in full to live safely with dignity. So this is a big challenge that we have. And nationally, there's a crisis referral hotline called 211, where you can reach out to, call, text, chat, or email 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And 211 is a tremendous resource for us because it really allows us to understand the pulse of the community, to be able to be nimble, to pivot, to know that these are the needs, these are the calls, the chats, the texts that are coming in, and be able to direct the resources to where it's needed most. Last year alone, we had over 420,000 contacts to 211, which is astronomical and double the amount that we had the year before. So it just again reiterates the need that's out there and the need for basic essential needs. We encourage you to pass 211 along to a neighbor, a family member, a coworker, a complete stranger to get the help they need. So that's meeting our basic needs for our community. We're also helping individuals move towards financial stability. We're providing working families and individuals resources to maintain and to manage through short-term instability and to save for the future. An example of a program that we offer at United Way is called our Free Tax Prep Coalition. This is a program that allows us and volunteers to help individuals file for their taxes for free. It keeps the $700 that you pay to file your taxes in people's pockets, allows for individuals to be able to check off the appropriate boxes and make sure they're completing their taxes to their fullest to get the maximum amount of a refund back. And it's keeping, again, those dollars in the community. Last year, we helped over 7,000 individuals and families file for their taxes for free, which kept about $13 billion in the community. If you're interested in a type of volunteer opportunity like this to help individuals file, please reach out to us. And it's a program that will get started, and we train people in December and January. That's moving towards financial stability. We're also building for success in school and in life. We're allowing our youth to be successful as they move through the challenges of the pandemic and of just growing up in the environment that we're in right now. Many students have suffered from learning loss because they didn't have the access to safe, affordable, and educational resources and programming within school and after school as well. The mental health of our kids has been a priority of ours and a challenge that our community faces. The social isolation is a real thing based on the pandemic and different opportunities that some kids had and others didn't. So we know that's the future, and we're working with our partners at schools and out-of-school time partners to build success for our youth moving forward. So the bottom line is the United Way really offers an opportunity for you to become a change maker, to contribute at whatever level you're able to. Your support is committed to addressing food insecurity. It's providing access to nutritious food and offering equitable opportunities around race, gender, and ability for people to access services and benefits that increase their income and financial stability, and it builds social and emotional well-being and educational readiness for our kids. Today and during the campaign, I empower you to dig deep and to think about what you're passionate about, what's important to you, what really tugs at your heartstrings, and how you want to give and where you want to give to. So I encourage you, when you go back to the rest of your day after this presentation, that you go onto our pledge site and you contribute. And there are many different opportunities that you'll hear about in a moment of ways to stay engaged in our work. So together, we will make a difference collectively. We appreciate everything at the university. So thank you. I'd now like to introduce Lauren Sunderland. She's our Next Generation Engagement Manager, who will tell you about other great ways that you can be involved in the work that we're doing. Welcome, Lauren.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you all for having us here today. And thank you, Adam, for sharing all the details about United Way's impact in the community. So what makes this impact possible? It's donors like all of you. So I'm here to talk about all the many ways that you can get involved with United Way and really make a difference in your local community. So I'll start with a brand new initiative that we have this year. It's called Next Gen Ambassadors. So this initiative combines both time and money and provides young professionals the opportunity to really feel the impact of their support. So Next Gen Ambassadors are 35 and under. They are donating at least $120 annually, so $10 a month, and they are volunteering with United Way at least one time annually. So you can volunteer at one of our many volunteer opportunities that we host, or even at Pitt with any of your colleagues if you have a Pitt United Way volunteer opportunity. So those who qualify to be a Next Gen ambassador will receive benefits such as early bird registration for any Next Gen volunteer events that we have happening, and then also recognition on United Way's website, which I think are both really great opportunities. And I just wanted to share the impact of what $120 can do in the community. So $120 provides food and shelter for 6 families in crisis. So that is really just a remarkable statistic about what $10 a month can really do. Next, I'm going to share details on leadership giving. So United Way of Southwestern Pennsylvania, we define a leadership donor as anybody donating at least $1,000 annually or $500 through one of our Step Up programs. So when you give at a leadership level, you are given the opportunity to join one of our leadership donor groups. So if you identify as a female or have a female spouse, you're invited to join our Women's Leadership Council, which is also known as WLC for short. If you are a young to mid-career professional, you're invited to join our Bridges Society. Both groups provide really fantastic opportunities to connect with like-minded philanthropic individuals, with both your colleagues at Pitt and then also other organizations throughout the region who all deeply care about our community. So both Bridges Society and Women's Leadership Council host a variety of activities. Some are pure networking, others are professional and personal development. And then, of course, we have our hands-on volunteer opportunities that we offer throughout the year. More details, our Bridges Society includes nearly 800 members who last year collectively raised over $1.6 million. There are 15 Bridges Society members at Pitt, so thank you all to our Bridges Society members at Pitt, and it's a great network within the university and then also with throughout the region to really connect with. And our Women's Leadership Council is an impressive force of over 2,300 philanthropic women who have donated over $9.4 million last year. Wow. And at the university, there are 129 Women's Leadership Council members. So lots of really philanthropic people to connect with at the university, some of your colleagues for sure. And to wrap up leadership giving, I wanted to share the impact of leadership gifts. So $500, which is the beginning level for Step Up, connected 20 community members to COVID-19 vaccines in the last year. So that's really remarkable. And $1,000 helps 2 families through a short-term crisis by paying their utility bill, preventing their utilities from being shut off, and helping them to avoid costly late fees. So we're thinking about the winter months that are coming up and how utility bills are generally on the rise. So many people will need assistance with their utility bills. So being able to help 2 families is really remarkable. And then I mentioned volunteer opportunities. So our volunteer team plans so many great volunteer opportunities, both large and small. And all you need to do is show up, even if it's for an hour or 2, and really make a difference. It's a really terrific way to experience the impact of your financial support. And it's a really great way to get to meet other people throughout the community, other Bridges and WLC members, and then of course our Next Gen ambassador. So there's really something for everyone, and you can participate with colleagues, friends, family, whatever works for you. And so I hope that you're inspired to join our powerful force of leaders. And if there's any questions, we are happy to connect at a later time. And I really thank you all for lifting up our neighbors and impacting our community. Now I will be passing along to Molly and Paula. So thank you all.
Good afternoon. My name is Paula Davis, and I serve as the just demoted myself, Associate Vice Chancellor for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for the Schools of the Health Sciences here at Pitt. And I am both pleased and proud to serve as the Women's Leadership Council Chair for this year. I have been connected to the United Way and the WLC for many years, and both as a donor, as participating and being the recipient of the services from autism-related nonprofits in the area. I have a young adult with autism at home, and we have benefited from many of the nonprofits that have helped to hone his skills, engage him in the community, and make him able to be the happy working person that he is today. It is my way of giving back, absolutely, to give at the leadership level and to participate with the WLC. So if you're not aware of the WLC, it's a group of committed women here at Pitt who are passionate about supporting women and families, who enjoy networking and being in the company of other engaged individuals, and have decided that philanthropic engagement is well worth their investment and one of the ways that they like to give back to the community. I joined the WLC because I thought it was my duty as a senior leader to be represented in that group, but I believe very strongly in giving back through my time and my earnings. So that part was easy. Joining, and since joining, I connected the dots between my giving and then my actual participation. And there's absolutely nothing like being in the company of like-minded individuals who want to make a difference. Our service projects, such as packing food at the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank and assembling literacy kits, allow us to serve our communities directly, beyond just being a great deal of fun, being with other folks who like participating. In addition, as donors, we have the capacity to participate in the selection of organizations that receive United Way funding. So the benefits to participation are both broad and deep. I wanted to take just a moment to try to tie together the mayor's gender equity report that came out several years ago and the work of the United Way. So that report cast a really bright light on the some of the gaps that exist in this area, particularly the needs of people of color, and particularly women of color. United Way funding goes a very, very long way to mitigate the needs of populations in need and bridging the gaps. And I know my own family has benefited, for example, from assistance with housing in times of dire need. So I give, deeply from the heart, and it is my honor and privilege to participate. Molly?
Thank you, Paula. My name is Molly Allwine, and I am the Director of Professional Education for the University of Pittsburgh School of Social Work. I am honored to be the chair of the Pitt Bridges campaign, and I'm very pleased to be with you all this afternoon to help kick off Pitt's annual United Way campaign. So I've been actively involved with the United Way for over 5 years. And before that, I actually worked for a nonprofit that received United Way funds. So I've really been on both sides of the equation, both a recipient and now a donor. In addition, my family has used 211 services in the past. So we are, connected to the United Way in many different ways. So I'm here today to talk a little bit about the Bridges Society, what it is and why I'm excited about it. The Bridges Society, as Lauren mentioned, are young philanthropic givers and change makers who are under age 45 and who donate to the United Way. So when you're thinking about who would be a Bridges Society member, you're thinking about folks who are young to mid-career professionals, those folks who are the next generation of leaders, folks within our university who you can point to and say, that person's a rock star, they're going places, they're engaged, they're committed. That would be a perfect Bridges Society member. There are great advantages to being part of the Bridges Society. There are members-only events and professional development opportunities, in addition to really fun networking opportunities. I've met some great colleagues who I still connect with to this day through the opportunities that the Bridges Society has provided to me. It's also great because networking events can be kind of intimidating, but when you're at a Bridges Society or WLC event, you know that you have something in common with everyone there. You're committed to your community, you're interested in being a part of the change that happens, and it's just an easier way. It's like it provides you all sort of an entryway because you know you have things in common. So the other part I love about the Bridges program and what made it accessible for me is that it involves a step-up program. So you eventually get up to donating $1,000 a year to be a Bridges Society member, but you can join the step-up program, which gives you incremental increases for over a 5-year period of time, allowing that to be more financially accessible. So for me personally, I put aside a little bit of the annual raise that I get at Pitt every year and add that to my financial donation for the United Way for the next year so that I know that I can meet that financial commitment because it's important to me. If you identify as a woman, you're also able to join the WLC Step Up program as a Bridges Society member, which means you also have access to all of the wonderful events that can provide as well. The United Way as a whole is a really amazing organization. I love that they ask for your time and your expertise and not just your money. You're invited to volunteer and there are so many opportunities to get involved. There truly are. It's also a family affair. You can bring your kids, your spouse, your partner with you to volunteer at these events. I brought my 6-month-old daughter, Genevieve, to a park cleanup event last summer, and it was really, really fun. She kind of just sat on a blanket and ate some snacks, but you know, it's important to me to show her the importance of volunteering, and I'll continue to bring her. I'm actually going to a United Way happy hour event tonight, and she's coming with me because I want her surrounded by the kind of people that are involved in the United Way. It also gives me a chance to sort of put my money where my mouth is. As I mentioned at the beginning, I'm a social worker, so living my values of social justice, equity, diversity, and supporting the folks who are doing the hard work in our community is important to me. And so I make that a priority for me, my budget, and what I want to do with what I've been given in this life. It's really just a way that I embody both my professional and my personal values. The last thing I just wanted to mention, and it's a great benefit, is that if one of you is a member of the Bridges or Women's Leadership, the other one is as well. So your partner or your spouse is automatically able to join and can come with you to events and enjoy all of the benefits of membership. So now I'm going to pass it back over to Lauren and Leanne.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, thanks so much. My colleague Leanne and I, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the engagement opportunities that we have coming up over the next few weeks. So I will touch on bridges and next gen opportunities. So some really exciting ways to get involved. So on Thursday, November 3rd, we have what we're calling a Candid Conversations in our Tocqueville Society, which is our highest level donors, have invited us to join and learn from a executive speaker. And then it's a really great opportunity for Bridges Society members to network with our Tocqueville donors. And then on November 15th, we have a really fun Next Gen for STEM volunteer opportunity happening at Acrisure Stadium. So please keep your eyes out for upcoming event invites. And Leanne, I'll pass to you. Thanks.
Great. Thank you so much, Lauren. And I am Leanne Munger, and I'm a development officer for Women's Leadership Council here at the United Way. I'd like to thank all of our current members who have joined and invite anyone who's interested in learning more to reach out directly to me for more information about Women's Leadership Council. And I'd like to extend a special thank you to Molly and Paula for your incredible passion for United Way, Bridges Society, and Women's Leadership Council. Your remarks were truly moving to those of us on the United Way staff. And so thank you so much. So in terms of WLC, Women's Leadership Council, we always have a lot going on in terms of networking events, professional development events, and volunteerism. Just some of the things that are coming up are in early December, our annual Shop and Share event in Ligonier. If you've not been to Ligonier, I invite you to come, and it's a great way to kick off the holiday season. And if you have been to Ligonier, beautiful Ligonier, you know this is an event not to be missed. Come and network with other Women's Leadership Council and Bridges Society members while you kick off the holiday season with some great shopping. And then our annual WLC event will be happening on March 1st. So save the date. Registration and more information will be available in the coming months. But this is a great opportunity to connect with the entire Women's Leadership Council community. And as I believe Lauren said, we have 2,300 members here in the region. So it's an amazing philanthropic force of women that you will want to spend time with and connect with on March 1st. And then in terms of both networking and volunteerism, where those two areas intersect, we have our Cards of Caring volunteer opportunity coming up soon. And that will be held both remotely and in person. So whatever you're most comfortable with, you can come to our office, enjoy some treats, some hot chocolate, network with other Women's Leadership Council members while you write cards of holiday cheer for seniors in the region. Or if you prefer, we can send those cards to you and you can complete that project at home with your family. I don't know if Genevieve is going to be old enough to hold a crayon, Molly, but you can participate as a family or individually with friends, there at your home for the Cards of Caring project. So stay tuned for more information. I know that Kelly does a great job of helping to disseminate all of our upcoming events to colleagues at the university. So more info to follow. And at this point, I'm turning it back to Paula and Molly.
Thank you, Leanne. I think at this time, we'd like to see if there are any questions from the audience that we can answer about our experiences and participation in WLC and Bridges. If not, we can have a brief discussion. So Molly, what's been your favorite volunteer activity so far as a participant with Bridges?
Oh my goodness, that's really, really hard. So I love an event called Hoodies for the Holidays, and I went to it quite a few years back, and I want to say this is my first Bridges Society event. And it was actually a trivia event, and your entry fee was to bring a college hoodie to the event, and it was a great time. So the trivia was fun, networking with folks was fun, but then the hoodies went to kids, local high school students, as just sort of an encouragement for them to think about college, that they were college material, and it's just a wonderful way to connect back to the community. How about you, Paula?
I think my very first WLC activity was my favorite, and we were packing literacy kits. I was very fortunate. My mom was a stay-at-home mom until, I was probably in middle school. So she taught me to read when I was 4. So I've always been very, very passionate about reading. I probably have more books in my life than people. So to be able to spend some time taking those books and packing them for children who I knew, might not have an opportunity to otherwise have books of their own. It was just, so enriching and rewarding, knowing that they were going to kids who was going to help them to maybe learn to read. And as I did, you travel the world without leaving your home through books and through literature. And beyond that, it was just a group of women from industry and from education and from community organizations, just all sort of piled up in a room at the United Way, having the best time doing this assembly line of book packing, assisted by, just this amazing staff. So it was a great deal of fun, and I will always remember that as my very first WLC activity.
You reminded me of another couple events that I really enjoyed doing. And the first one is build a bike. I don't know if that's exactly what it was called, but you actually worked with a team to physically build a bike. And then at the end of the event, you gave it to a child. So a child actually walks out of the building with a brand new bike. And I mean, bikes were such an important part of my childhood growing up, like it's like your first taste of freedom, right? You actually get to like ride around the block without your parent next to you, or, just to enjoy the feeling of like zooming down a hill and, getting to interact with the kids that were actually on the receiving end of that was wonderful too. And same sort of thing with the Games for Good event. You get to actually just have fun with a group of kids for a couple of hours and play different games with them, and have fun. It ends with a dance party. And I don't think there's anything better than like dancing in a group of kids. They're just loving life. And it's just so awesome to be able to be part of these events and really see the impact of the work that United Way does.
Absolutely, to see both ends of the spectrum, right? From the planning and implementation side to actually seeing the recipients of everyone's donations and their sort of sweat equity, if you will, in creating activities that will enrich others' lives, particularly children and families. So I can't think of anything better to do, with the time that we have here on this earth.
I so agree. So Paula, what are some ways that you've talked to your colleagues, coworkers about WLC and Bridges to kind of get them motivated to connect and get involved?
I think one of the things that I've done is to try to really press home the opportunity to gather with individuals that you might not necessarily have a chance to see on a daily basis. For good or for ill, we work in a pretty siloed fashion. So to have that opportunity to not just be within your office space, but to be elsewhere and engaged with people who are working, in particular in different facets of the university, but again, are all like-minded people, is a wonderful thing. And, just in thinking about mentorship, it's difficult to think about being something that you don't necessarily have an opportunity to see. So particularly for Bridges members to be able to spend time with senior leadership, to ask those questions about, okay, how did you get from where I am to where you are? And to have that sort of sometimes mentorship on the fly, but sometimes the capacity to form even deeper relationships, I think is wonderful. There aren't necessarily any roadmaps for career pathing within a university. And a lot of sort of figuring out what the next steps are seeing individuals who are a few steps beyond you and getting some sense of how to bridge that gap from where you are to where you want to be. And what about you? What have you found to be enriching, particularly with Bridges?
Yeah. So I think, the struggle for young professionals can be digging deep and finding that money in your budget, right? It can be difficult. So I think having the conversations around, what you prioritize in your personal, like your family system, in your community, and how the United Way is a wonderful avenue to achieve that. So for me, I think it's easier to have conversations with folks who I know are already really invested in their community, who are, ethically and personally feel responsible for making the world a better place. And being able to identify those folks and talking to them about the opportunities that they have to do that within the United Way, has been a way that I've been able to find sort of that pathway. And also, of course, highlighting that step up program and telling them how easily achievable it actually is. When you break it down, it really is not that much money every month to be able to meet that goal. Although it seems like when you think about $1,000, you're like, oh, that's a lot of money. But if you really break it down, it's something that if you make a sacrifice or two, it's usually achievable for most folks, especially with that step up program. So thinking about it in that way, and also bringing people with me to events so they see how fun it is, and how great it is to be able to use your skills and your time as well as your financial donation.
Absolutely, absolutely. I found that joining WLC, at least making that financial sacrifice, was not that difficult because, for me, first of all, payroll deduction is magic, right? So you set a threshold that's comfortable for you. It's taken from your paycheck. It's not like you have to worry about every month how you're going to be able to do that. You can, if you build that into your budgeting, it is very easy to have that happen. And I think that, for me, I know that I fritter, right? I fritter. So I will fritter, cups of coffee at Starbucks. I will fritter salads at Hello Bistro, bowls at Roots Natural Kitchen right there on Forbes Avenue. So it gives me an opportunity to, to think about what I expend sort of mindlessly, and then what I can expend in a more intentional way.
Yeah, I think you're right. That payroll deduction is key. It is key. Something else that I've found really useful is my folks will also, like my friends and colleagues, generally are donating to local nonprofits anyway. So just letting them know that they can still continue to donate to that nonprofit that they support through the United Way has been helpful for folks, because you're supporting that nonprofit in the same way, but you're also helping Pitt to meet its goal for the United Way. So I think it's a wonderful way to sort of hit both.
Absolutely, absolutely. Absolutely, very, very well worthwhile.
So it looks like we're at the point in our presentation today where, that's kind of a segue that I gave myself, to ask you all that are here with us this afternoon to join with me and Paula and everyone else on this call, to give to our annual United Way campaign through Pitt. I personally just renewed my pledge yesterday. I think I'm on like step 4 of the step up year. And it took me about 30 seconds to go on to Pitt's portal and just renew my pledge. It was extremely easy process. Our university's annual United Way campaign started on October 1st and it goes throughout the year. But I'm here to personally encourage you to get your gift renewed or started for the first time as early as possible, so that those gifts are really making that immediate and local impact that we're talking about today. And like I mentioned, please remember that you can still give to your favorite organizations and nonprofits through your United Way pledge. It's a wonderful way to make a gift that you are already planning to make. For example, I'm on the Young Professionals Board of a great local organization called Hearth, and I give my board of directors donation through the United Way to support that organization. But I also choose to give additional money to the United Way Impact Fund to promote the services and the programs that they offer. But most of all, I just want to stress that I hope you realize that by donating to the United Way, your dollars stay local, they stay in your community, they support the organizations that are here, that are doing the work, that are on the ground, that are helping the folks that need the help within our area, and they make a huge impact. And even more impactful, you are showing your commitment to Pitt as well as your program nonprofit of choice. So that is my commitment, that I am doing my part, and my ask that you join with me in that.
And I will join with you and offer my request for folks to join me as well. Join me and the other passionate, committed women on our campus and give to our 2022-23 United Way campaign. Set a threshold that works for you and contribute to help our neighbors. I also divide my gift. Some goes to the Impact Fund to support those 211 activities, meeting those immediate needs, and then to organizations that resonate with my heart, with my family's needs, and also other organizations where I serve. Just like you, I serve on the board of some nonprofits and like to make sure that some of my giving goes in that direction as well. So join us, help us to help our neighbors, join us to network and connect and forge relationships that can help to grow your career, make our campus a better community, but also at the same time to help our greater Pittsburgh and Southwestern Pennsylvania community.
Thank you so much, Paula, for all the work you do. And thank you to everyone from the United Way for providing this wonderful way for all of us to support your organization and our local community. So happy to be a part of it.
Ditto. Thank you, everyone.